Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. This is the 10th part of the Beginners Meditation Workshop series, so this is the final part. And I just wanted to say thank you if you've been tuning in because you've now got a very good grasp of the fundamentals of meditation practice, as well as a lot of the tips and tricks to troubleshoot common problems you might have in a beginning practice. So congrats again. And I also just wanted to say thank you for letting me guide you through this process. I did start this channel to work with people who, had never meditated before or who were curious and just felt a bit overwhelmed. So it's really nice to be working with you and to see that it's working. The channel is still growing, but I'm sure that over time it will grow a lot more. So yeah, thanks again. This is a channel where you can learn the ins and outs of mindfulness practice, get tips and tricks on meditation, and no matter what your level, you can meditate with me. So thanks so much for joining me. If you've been getting anything out of the videos, I ask that you subscribe if you haven't yet, and if you feel like anyone else might benefit, if you could share the videos, comment, and like them, that's a big help. I am looking to grow the channel to 1,000 subscribers in these first 6 months, and I'm sure that I can do that with your help. So thanks again. Let's go ahead and dive into the topic for today, which is a bit about the philosophy of meditation and why do we meditate and what is the process of meditation? What does it mean, or what is that significance? And why we meditate, I think, is twofold, or I think I'd say threefold, which is the first is a process of getting to know the present moment. So, what is happening around us, what is happening inside of us, what is happening in our world. And by taking a moment to sit still and to just be, that we can get a grasp of what is that truth of what is happening here and now. And secondly, it's that same process, but also related to ourselves. So, how can we better understand ourselves? How can we better understand our thinking patterns, our emotions, our habits, our destructive habits, and ways that we can improve. And the last thing is really not so much of a why of meditation, but of a what. Like, what does this process mean? And to me, this was really something that I discounted as an early meditator, and actually for a very long time in my meditation path. But that essentially that meditation is the process of becoming friends with ourselves. And it's a process by which slowly we can become familiar with ourselves, but also really importantly that there's a gentleness in how we approach ourselves, how we approach our mind, our thought patterns, our flaws, and that we can always seek to be friendly and to wish success for ourselves. And in this process that's really what happens, that we can become more familiar and more friendly with our very selves. And that's something that, again, I think is a little bit overlooked or maybe even not even mentioned in a lot of circles, but really essential, because that kindness and that generosity is really something that is integral to the path. And the more I meditate, the more I see that, not only for ourselves, but eventually expanding into others, which is probably something we'll cover more into the future. So that said, how does it feel to hear that? How does it feel to think of ourselves as friends to ourselves and allies, and that this process of meditating is a really essential part of that? So if you have any feedback or comments, or maybe it's something you want to reflect on yourself for a bit, but what does that mean to you, and does that make sense? Does that fit maybe into your experience so far, or maybe does it change your perspective? So that's it for today in terms of the talk portion. I just wanted to touch on that topic really briefly, and to end with that, as again, I think it's something that's very essential to understanding what is meditation, but also ultimately to being successful in it, because the way we address ourselves and the way that we talk to ourselves during our session and even off But during our meditation session is a big part of that practice. So remembering to have that gentleness and to have that patience as much as you can, because that's something also that grows with time. But remembering to have that orientation of friendliness and friendliness being a possibility is really, I think, a very big deal, and something that I think I only really started to absorb quite recently. So that said, let's go ahead and become friends with ourselves through our practice. Let's go ahead and sit. If you're not already sitting, go ahead and find a comfortable posture for you to sit in a chair or on the floor. And just taking a moment to connect with your body. What does that mean? That means just feeling your body as a whole, the whole shape of your body, but also just touching in on some of those key posture points, your legs, your back, your shoulders dropping, your hands, your chin slightly down, the tongue resting on the roof of your mouth, where the roof of your mouth meets your top teeth. And your eyes, your eyes are open, but the gaze is about 6 feet in front of you, and your eyelids very heavy. So after that brief overview of our posture, we're just heading now in our mind and our focus to our breathing. You might notice by arranging our posture this way, it's quite easy, or it's much more intuitive to look at our breath, to be with our breath. And we're breathing in and out. And when our thoughts first start to wander, that we are taking that orientation of friendship, that kind and gentle approach, and just gently guiding our thoughts and our mind back to our breath. And breathing in and breathing out. Just allowing yourself to be with your breathing. And allowing your breath to take up that space of your mind, to take up your existence. You're not separate from your breath. And if today or on other days there's chaos or aggression or craziness in your mind, just coming back to that friendly approach, that gentle hand guiding your thoughts back to breathing. And some days you might not be able to bring your thoughts back. Maybe it's very difficult, or you just seem so distracted. And that's okay. We're not going to be aggressive towards ourselves. We're not going to criticize ourselves. Just doing our best when the moment arrives where we can. That we rejoin our breathing. And we breathe in. And we breathe out one last time. So thank you again for joining me. I hope you had a good practice session today and in the previous days. And if you haven't watched the Beginners Meditation Workshop, I really recommend you check it out. It should be somewhere on the screen right now, or if you just click the playlist tab of my channel, it's definitely there. So thanks again. Please let me know if you have any questions. You're welcome to reach out to me in comments or on Instagram through DM. And look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you. I'll see you soon.